Welcome to a self-published author's diary. I am Elodie Novodatsky. I write about first time, second chances, things that scare the crap out of me, and things that make me laugh out loud. I'll be speaking with you and sharing my adventures in self-publishing, the behind the scenes of writing, and the business side of it. And before we get started today, a small message from our sponsor, Anchor. Thanks for listening. Hello, it is November 18th, 2021, and it is Thursday. It's almost 3 p.m. here in Maryland, and I am talking this week. I'm basically going through my process of this particular week, and you may notice that my process is slightly switching compared to my previous weeks. So I've started to write earlier. I used to write quite a bit in the morning, and then I'm taking classes on Coursera I'm learning how to code in Python, and I'm also taking an IT support class. So I'm taking both classes at the same time, and I do a lot of my classes in the morning as well. However, I'm trying to decide if, in terms of writing, if I should maybe try to get up earlier, and that's what I've done on Wednesday and Thursday, to get up earlier so that I can be writing at 6 a.m. And then I start writing a little bit, and then I do my courses, and then I go back to writing. On Wednesdays, we wear pink. No, it's on Wednesdays. I think that I will dedicate actually the entire day or 80% of my working day to writing so that I can make a lot of progress, because I've done that on Wednesday. And I added a couple thousand words to this other story that I'm writing under a pen name. And I also rearranged some of that other story, and I added about 2,000 words, 2,500 words to Sweets for Love, which is Aisling's story. I really love it. I've started writing the first scene of the story because I'm still planning some of what's going to happen afterwards, but I have my first scenes down. In the first chapters, it's like what happened a year prior. And in the second chapter, it's something that happens at the end of The Leftover Bride. So it's actually very easy for that, for me to make sure that I do not have any discrepancy between what happens at the end and what happens at the beginning, is that I can just copy and paste what happened in The Leftover Bride and now say it from Aisling's perspective, which is what I've done for the second chapter in the book. I have copied and pasted the end of The Leftover Bride. I am not counting what I copied and pasted into the words that I've written. So I've written 2,000 new words, and yeah, it's exciting. I've started brainstorming with critic partners, and I'm just very much looking forward to diving back into the story. So I'm at the very happy high stage of writing where the words are flowing, and it's really fun to write. And yes, the dog just snored because, as always, Plato the dog is on the couch next to me as I'm recording this. I just came back from taking him for a walk, and he's a little bit tired. I want to talk quickly before I go back, and you can listen to my progress that I've made every day and some of the plans that I have in terms of, business side and everything, is that I've realized that I need to make sure to be more aware of what's going on in terms of conferences in the self-publishing world. Because one of my author friends on Instagram mentioned Romance Author Mastermind. And that conference took place from November 4th to November 7th, 2021. And I totally missed it. I guess because I had not been on Instagram or Twitter, I had not gone into the groups quite a bit. I just totally missed it. And this is something that I think I would have really enjoyed, and I would have probably learned quite a bit from. You have to request an invitation. And some of the speakers for the virtual 2021 event included Kennedy Ryan, Colin Hoover, Nana Malone, Ivy Smoke, and Sierra Simone, and Sky Warren and Monica Murphy, and Those are names, if you read romance, that you might know. I've read a lot of those authors and I admire a lot of those authors' careers. And so the Romance Author Mastermind was created to share knowledge and support women in the industry. Are you an author with an established platform looking to grow? We believe that the people who can best teach are not designated experts, but simply the people who are actually doing it. That's why we bring top-selling authors to speak with compassion and candor about their experiences. Yeah, and then you have to click to request an invitation. And when you request an invitation, it says it's designed for mid-list authors who have 5 or more books already published, who have an established readership and are looking to grow to the next level. If you'd like to attend, please fill out the form below. We can guarantee an invitation, but we'd love to know about your interest. And then the strength of this event is not only the incredible speakers, but also the attending authors. You bring your own knowledge and experience that enriches the overall event. If you would like to be considered for the diversity scholarship, please apply here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that I save this, and maybe still, I don't know if I should or not say that I'm interested. I don't know if they recorded anything. So I might actually still do request an invitation and ask if they've recorded anything. I have no idea. Again, those are things that I need to make sure that I try to be more involved in, because I need to make sure that I save the link, which is romanceauthormastermind.com. I will add the link into my episode's description so you have it. So they started in September 2018, where 200 romance authors attended the sold-out inaugural Romance Author Mastermind. And then they continued in November 2019, where they sold out 350 tickets with a wait list of a few hundred other authors. And in 2020, their event went digital for the first time. So I don't know how many tickets they sold this year for the digital event. I don't know if everybody got accepted. I just don't know. And I would like to find out more. So I will. I'm putting that on my to-do list on finding out more about this particular event. I'm wondering if there are videos from it. I have no clue. But I've seen online people talking about how much they've learned, how much they've enjoyed it, how much they're thinking already of applying what they've learned. So this is something that I need to keep in mind. There is another conference. This one is not solely romance related, and it's called 20 Books to 50K. And so for that one, it's online. That particular event, if you look for 20 Books to 50K on YouTube, and I will also add the link, there are quite a few videos available online. I think it's the entire conference, and it has videos on finding and keeping fans. It has videos on your author brand, how to do a photo shoot. So that type of panels are also available, and they are, again, available on YouTube, and I will add the link to it. And then there's another conference that is something that I'm thinking about. I've been thinking about it since I've taken one of the webinars from Alessandra Torre, and you can find her webinars on alessandratorreinc.com. So on inkerscon.com, you can find the conference, which is called 2021 is the year for growth. And this one is one payment of $245 or 2 payments of $123. And she sometimes has discounts if you take one of the webinars. I've seen discounts. She also has a discount right now for her 2020 conference. And this is something that I've been looking at. So the InkersCon digital access includes our digital conference, allows viewing of all of our 27 class presentations, 3 years of access to all InkersCon 2021 presentation, and exclusive access to the private Facebook group for attendees only. And I think I had seen in the speakers, the 2021 speakers include Alessandra Torre, they include Brian Cohen, who is an Amazon ad expert. He does classes. You can take free classes with him too. So when it comes to the speakers on InkersCon 2021, they have different, like they're organized based on what they could see on like speaking topics, speaking subjects. And so they have one which is TikTok for authors, and they have several authors who are talking about it, including Carrie Aarons, who has 91,000 TikTok followers, Shel Sloan, who has 427,000 TikTok followers, and Eden O'Neill, who has 23,000 TikTok followers. Another topic they're tackling is joining the six-figure club. And in this one, I right away saw that there was NS Johnson, and just seeing her in that conference makes me want to get into the conference, like to actually maybe, I don't know if you remember, but I've talked to NS a couple of months ago now on her writing and self-publishing career and how she reached the six-figure club. And she just had so much knowledge, and she was really fun to talk to in addition. So I think I'm going to look if maybe there are any new deals that are arriving on this particular conference, and then maybe I will think about purchasing access to it. The 2022 Inkers conference is going to be both online and live, apparently, in Dallas. So next year, they're currently planning 2 formats of the Inkers conference. And then they also have free classes, which you can watch anytime. So if you go on inkerscon.com/free-classes, then you have access to 2 different classes. One about Goodreads and one about 6 secrets every indie author should know. These are just 3 of the conferences that I know about. Well, again, the Romance Author Mastermind I didn't know about, but now I do. The 20 books to 50K, I'm part of the Facebook group, and I had seen it on the Facebook group. So I'm going to watch a little bit of that one. And then the InkersCon, again, I'm hesitating between purchasing access to the conference or not. I find it so very important to keep updated on the marketing strategies that work for self-published authors, for indie authors. I find it also very interesting to see what others are doing and what's working for them. And then also I'm trying to learn how to write to market under a pen name. Yeah, I think it works for some authors, and it works very well. I think it's a very strong exercise in writing as well, because of course you have to you have to find a niche that works for you when you're writing. And you can also learn to write to market. You can adapt also your writing style depending on what you're writing and different things. Like my writing style is a little bit different if I'm writing, rom-com, like my voice is going to be different. I'm not quite sure if my style actually is entirely different. I will have to really also study my own writing to see, like, of course my voice is different in a rom-com and in an adult rom-com than it is in a YA thriller. The voice is not the same, but is my style the same? It's something I'm going to have to look closer into, because I think I do have certain ways of writing, even if I don't necessarily use the same words or the same, depending on what I'm describing. Again, each character has their own voice, right? But the way that I write my sentences and everything, like the way I structure my paragraph, the way I structure my chapters, the way I wonder if that's actually more similar than I think. So I will look into that. But for now, keep on listening to have a little update on my writing and what I was doing on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. I did not record on Monday. And if you have any conferences that you recommend or any conferences that I did not mention, please do send me an email, author Elodie Novodatsky @gmail.com. Novodatsky again is NOWODSDOGAZKIJ. I would really appreciate it. And then I can see what's happening in terms of conferences for especially dedicated to indie authors and possibly indie romance authors in particular. Thank you. Good morning. It's Tuesday, November 16th. And I wanted to start today by sharing that I just received an amazing email from a reader talking about how much they loved The Leftover Bride. And yeah, their review is just like warmed my heart. It was one of those reviews that I will definitely keep and look at when I need encouraging on, like when sometimes I feel like maybe my writing is not as good as it could be. We hope. I think as writers and as people, we have those moments where we're not sure. It happens. Like, do we write? Is it good enough? Is it going to resonate with readers? Is that going to achieve what I'm setting out to achieve? Is it going to be entertaining? Is it going to be, depending on what you're writing? For me, I want it to be what I'm writing. I want it to be entertaining. I want it to make people smile and laugh. And that particular reader told me how she cracked up reading one particular scene. And that was just a great email to get in the morning. Yesterday, on Monday, I worked on updating my landing pages from MailChimp. So I use MailChimp for my newsletter. And as I've mentioned before, I send a newsletter every Friday. Some of them are longer than others. Some are very short. Some are maybe a bit too long when I have a lot of things to say or like share, or mostly related to writing and reading and shows that I'm watching. And sometimes I do like a little bit of a personal update on different things, but I don't get into a lot of details except on my writing, of course, and reading and books that I'm going to publish and things like that. Yesterday, I decided to go through my landing pages because I realized that my landing pages were maybe a bit too convoluted. They had, boxes that said not required. So I was asking, what I require is the email address, of course. And I actually do require the first name of the person. And some people don't put their first name. But the reason why, or they put something else. But the reason why I'm asking for the first name is I've noticed sometimes an increase in opening rates when I add the first name into the subject line of the newsletter. So this is why I do ask for the first name on the actual signing up form, landing page in my case. I looked at what a very famous author, I think of Regency Romance. I cannot remember which one it was, so I'm not going to name the author that I think it might be because I can't recall if that's really her. But she had, I think, birthday as part of her, fields that you could fill out. And I was kind of thinking, oh, that's neat, because then you can send out a happy birthday to the reader, which I think is a great touch. Like, you can be like, hey, happy birthday for your birthday. Here's a 20% discount code for whatever book on my personal shop. Like, this is kind of what I was thinking of doing, but it's a lot of work still in the back end right now that I don't have the time and I've never used it. And it can be, I think, a deterrent. Even if you say not required, I think it can be a deterrent to some people to actually register or subscribe to the newsletter, because the more info you ask of someone, the more time it takes them. The more time it takes them, I think sometimes the less likely they are to actually input that information. So I went through my English-speaking landing pages and I am just scrubbing down some things that I have not used. So I'm scrubbing down, the birthday, not required. I'm scrubbing down the last name, not required either. Like, I had it as a field that included not required. But again, like, it just makes the landing page just busier and maybe more intimidating in a way. Like, I don't want to spend that time, filling it out. So right now I just stripped it down to just email and first name, and to go with the GDPR rules in the EU, I still have like, would you like to receive? And I stripped that down to just email, because I don't send anything else. I don't send physical letters or postcards directly from the info that I gathered from my newsletter. I may at some point during the year, say like, hey, if you want, here's a giveaway, I'm going to need your address for that. And then I ask the winner for the address. In the past, I've done it too, where I had postcards that I could send. And in that case, I just asked people if they were interested in receiving a postcard to send me their mailing address. So that's a different way to do it. I'm not automatically sending things without people approving every time that I send out something. So this is something I've spent a bit of time doing yesterday. And then I'm still going through my NetGalley requests. And I am, yesterday I also worked on the French translation, setting up the next milestones to make sure that I have the file ready for publication. What I do need to do today, so today again is Tuesday, what I do need to do today in terms of the translation is I need to reply to people who have been commenting on the Facebook ad for that. So people have talked to one another, letting each other know that the book had been delayed to mid-December, but I want to pop in and say a few words and thank them again for being excited about the book, because it's also great to see those comments and seeing people who are very much looking forward to the book being published. And another thing I want to do that I'm going to start doing the first step of today is putting A Summer Like No Other in French for free on all platforms. I am going to do that for 3 reasons. The first one is it has worked in other languages to boost the sale of Always Second Best. A Summer Like No Other has been out for a few years. So it's something that I think could also help, again, the book being discovered by new readers. And because I have the French version of The Leftover Bride coming out in December, I think it might help me be more visible in terms of, of my other books. So both my backlist in French and my upcoming title. So if I have more and more people reading A Summer Like No Other in French, and I make sure that's what I'm saying I'm going to do the first step of putting the book up for free on all platforms, is that I need to update the back end to make sure that The Leftover Bride is noted somewhere, and to make sure that I have the newsletter link ready to go with, the landing page the way it's supposed to be, the bonus theme and the automation that's ready to go. And so that needs to be settled before I put it up for free, or before I change the price to perma-free, so €0 everywhere. And one last tidbit about my newsletter, I will let you know if that trend continues, but I've been gaining newsletter subscribers more steadily with The Leftover Bride and A Summer Like No Other. It's been growing. It was growing slowly, and I've noticed a tick up in subscribers since the release of The Leftover Bride. I'm going to continue watching the trend and see how that continues. But those are the plans for today, in addition to writing and everything else I have on my to-do list. It is Wednesday, it's a bit before 6 a.m. and I'm about to start writing. So today my goal is to focus mainly on the actual act of writing, not on the self-publishing part of it, not on the business part of it. I will do a little bit of maintenance that I need to do, and I might also try to do a video to post on social media because I got the hardcover copy of The Leftover Bride. But otherwise today is about writing. I want to get words. I want to get my writing muscle going. So here I go. I'm going to write right now for an hour from 6 to 7. And then I will be back at it later during the morning in between my coding classes. And then I will be back at it a bit later during the afternoon as well. So here we go. Let's see how many words I can write in both projects. In Sweets for Love, which is a Aisling story, the second The Leftover Bride series of the Swanscove series. And then my pen name project, which is sitting right now at about 12,000 words, and it's a novella. So I'm reworking some scenes right now. So let's go. So it is Thursday, November 18th. And yeah, writing early has worked for me. So for the second day in a row, I started writing around 6 a.m. And I do a first writing session. And yesterday I dedicated almost all my entire morning to writing. And then today I had to do a few other things for my IT class and other. but I did start with writing. And I also chatted with one of my critic partners, and she helped me very much when it comes to brainstorming. And yeah, so today has been a pretty good writing day. As always, thank you so much for listening. Next week, there will not be an episode. It's the Friday after Thanksgiving, and I'm not planning on recording an episode next week. And if you have a few seconds, please do not hesitate to rate, subscribe, review, share with your friends this podcast of mine if you found it interesting, entertaining, if you've learned something, if it also sometimes helps you, like it helps me to listen to somebody else going through the ups and downs of publishing, in this case, self-publishing, and of being an indie author and of writing. So yeah. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to send me an email at authorelodienowodatsky@gmail.com. Nowodatsky is spelled Nowod as dog, Azkij. And for all the writers out there, happy writing. And to everyone, happy reading.